Good morning, Mokiti Benedict Bekere, Managing Director of Mwana Enterprises. I'm basically here this morning to share with you a bit of a chat on the topic of the power of opportunity. I would like to simply focus into the issue of global citizenship, which I think is really at the heart of the 21st century education system. And my contention at this point is that we need to embrace the power that the education system has, particularly taking into account our previous success stories and also regional uh, academic expertise within the context of Southern Africa that is available. We also need to take up the opportunity of Africa as one of the probably most upcoming continents where there is resource and where there is that eagerness and that zeal to actually prove beyond measure that we can do it. And I'm happy to also share to you that for today, really the core objective of what I would like to share with you is most importantly to inform those who are following us on Facebook that the power of opportunity lies within your hands. There is no other opportunity besides the one that you are facing at this point. And I'm happy to share with you a record of a project that I'm currently engaged in with the University of Leicester in the UK. I shall be reading to you the objective of the project in order to give you a scope so that you do get a gist of what I mean by the power of opportunity in education, right? I shall start, and the topic basically reads intercultural exchange, global citizenship within the primary school. I am taking this from an account that we need to be focusing into specializing in citizenship and environmental sustainable development education. Now, the most important thing to note is that global citizenship promotes civil responsibilities for all living within the world. But however, what is important to note is that education should act as an agent for exposure for varied information. Education within the 21st century is taking place in a context of rapid change. I think most of you will certainly agree with me on this. Therefore, this means that there's going to be persisting global and social inequalities in diversified societies. And I think Botswana is very one true example of this. I give you an example of Gaborone and Francistown. Look at the gap in between in terms of just the diversification of how education is taken seriously in Gaborone versus how education is taken in the far corner of Botswana, like a place like Mau, right? Now, however, what I must mention, this development place demands, and these demands are realistic, on the education system and emphasize the need to equip children with the knowledge and skills that will enable them to actually live and act as global citizens. Now that is very, very important. The preparedness of the learner to be competitive in the global world. Is this something that we are currently taking into consideration as we are educating our children, or we are simply just overlooking it, right? Now, the second issue is that, in the 21st century, there must be something that must be taken into heed, and that changing global context also needs to be implicated in the schools. The schools also have actually to change. They can't be left behind in the development process. Therefore, this makes it critical for our Botswana education system to allow children to be exposed to the ideas of different cultures, countries, learning methods besides the traditional classroom. And also this puts us in a critical thinking role as parents, as teachers, and as schools and as educators to consider what world we're living in right now. and how we can actually act towards improving the situation. Now, this is my personal opinion. I believe that giving children the exposure in line with what I'm talking about, giving them the similarities between the child who is in the government or public school and that child who is in the private school is important. And also giving them the similarity and difference between that child who is studying in the UK, one is studying in Asia, but rather for them to come to an agreement that the education that they're all getting is similar, in that it will be promoting resilience and also actually building that resilience, at the same time promoting collaborative working and preventing conflict for future generations. So this is what I see as a future education, and at this point I would like to thank you and say that this is my message to you for today, and hope for the best. Thank you very much. Good luck.